Why do we feel it's necessary to yak about bullshit in order to be comfortable?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and I guess you could call it a special edition, a little earlier edition of Late Night with the Gringo. I know I'm usually on a little bit later at night, but I decided, well, it's Saturday, so I'd go a little early, and so I hope everybody's having a great Saturday. I hope everybody had a great week, and just enjoyed doing what you're doing. So we got a lot to talk about, but today we're only going to talk about entertainment. We're going to stick to pop culture today. I know a lot of times we mix up pop culture and politics, but I decided to give politics a little bit of a rest. Why? Well, you can only do that so much before you just kind of, want to give it a rest. And I want to give it a rest for just today. So today we're going to talk a lot about movies, especially what happened at CinemaCon and what in the movie I saw yesterday, and put up a little bit of a review, spoiler-free review, a couple minutes just to give you my thoughts on it. And that would be the Minecraft movie. But first off, getting some, questions about, I hadn't been posting as of late for the last week or so, and hence the title. I think I'm an honorary Mexican now, which is a good thing, actually. For most of you that have been following the channel for a while, know that I call it, politics and pop culture from south of the border because I'm south of the border. And most of you know that I've been married for almost a quarter of a century to a beautiful woman who is a citizen of Mexico. Well, she's a citizen of the United States now, and now also a dual citizen of Mexico. But we decided a few years ago, right after the whole COVID thing, to move to Mexico and try living down here. And that's where we've been doing, and we've been loving it, and it's been great. And I've been enjoying life. I hope everybody else is, but I've been enjoying life. And for all the talk, I guess we are going to talk a little bit about politics right now. For all the talk about immigration in the United States, and it's this, it's that, and that's a mess. Let me tell you something. Immigration in the United States is easy. It's easy. Why do I know this? Because, well, my wife went through it, and I walked her through the whole process. It's really, you do it the right way. You take the right steps. You do it legally. Sorry to say, that might piss some people off. But if you do it legally and you fill out the right forms, you do it the right time, and you just answer the questions honestly, and, learn the language a little bit, learn a little bit about the history, which isn't really that hard. If you've seen the actual test that they give, it works out. Don't break the laws. It works out. It actually becomes a pretty simple thing. Down here in Mexico, also now because of everything that's going on and because of the sort of bitterness between Mexico and the United States right now, things have tightened up. So what I thought I'd never have to kind of go back to the United States, I thought my visa would be fine and then my residency would be fine. What happened was, well, they tightened up those rules and they've been a little more strict. And so last week around, I think it was Thursday or Friday, I saw that, I was told, you know what? No, you can't stay now. You have to go. You have to leave the country, which most of the time, if you get a visa to come to the United States of Mexico, because it is the United States of Mexico, actually, believe it or not, that's its official name. When you get a visa, you go through immigration. They ask you, hey, what are you here for? You say, hey, I'm here for 2 weeks, and they stamp your passport. Yeah, well, you got to leave in 2 weeks. So on the day that it says you got to leave. Normally, when I come down, because now that I live here, they give you 180 days. Well, my 180 days was up in about 24 hours, and so I couldn't stay. If I stayed, they would never let me get my residency after that, no matter what. Being married to a Mexican citizen, they wouldn't give a damn. So I had to literally rush, get on a plane with a backpack full of clean socks and underwear and an iPad to watch some movies. And I had to go from where I am now, which is in southern central Mexico, literally took a bus overnight and through the night. Not exactly. I wouldn't suggest taking. But by the way, if you come to Mexico, don't take the buses at night. Most of the time, it'll be safe. It's like one of the big, giant, company buses. By the way, they're really comfortable and they show movies and stuff like that. And they're really it's actually a very cheap and very nice way to travel around Mexico if you don't have a car. So I took the bus overnight to Benito Juarez Airport, which is in Mexico City. And my flight was in the morning, early morning, around 7:30. So I basically walked into Benito Juarez Airport and stayed there overnight. Literally slept on the floor because the one thing I'll tell you is that Terminal 1 over in Benito Juarez Airport, they don't have any chairs to sit in. I mean, they do in the food court, but that was the nice thing about the food court in that airport. And the McDonald's is open 24 hours, the Burger King, the Subway, all that stuff all this stuff is open 24. So if you're going to stay there all night, they'll feed you, which is nice. And they don't give you airport prices; they give you regular prices down here in Mexico. So for $5, you get a Big Mac, fries, and a Coke, and you're all happy. So anyway, so I'm exhausted, haven't slept. Get on a plane around 7:30, get to the United States, and I have to stay there for 24 hours. Well, what that means is my flight is the next day. So literally, I slept in the airport, George Bush International Airport, and stayed in there. And damn, I don't know what's going on with the United States, but man, people are cranky. Every American I ran into was just cranky. I just upset. I don't know. Life, I get it. Life isn't easy. But it really struck me how just miserable people looked and people felt and people just sort of portrayed themselves. Whether it was going to a Dunkin' Donuts to get a breakfast sandwich and a coffee, which cost me $15, by the way, which is ridiculous. I told, wow, I don't understand how some people are surviving in the United States, but that was ridiculous. And so I stayed all overnight, changed my socks and stuff like that. Slept in Terminal D, which is the international terminal. Woke up, splashed some water on my face, got back on a plane, flew back to Mexico, went through immigration, excuse me, and took a bus back here. And so I was basically going back and forth for 3 days. And now everything's fine and everything should be fine from here on in. Got things worked out. So, but in the meantime, in the process, for some reason, international travel, you're going to get a cold. And I think I got the cold, the C word, the dreaded C word. And I'm usually with my partner in crime, my son, who's usually with me right next to me, but you don't see him because, well, I think I passed on the C word to him, the C19, because, can't smell, can't taste, got a bad cold. And even though I got the booster shots and all that stuff, I still got it. So Joe Biden, you're a fucking liar. Remember when you told me a few years ago, you get the shot, you won't get the C word. Liar. So I'm just getting over it, but I still have it. So if I cough, sneeze, blow my nose, wipe my nose, something comes dripping out of me, I apologize, but that's just the way of life is right now. I didn't want to go without working. So I wasn't able to post anything. I couldn't prepare anything. Usually I have a comic book video that comes out every week, comic book recap. The last one I did was on Sergeant Rock, the 2 stories about Sergeant Rock. I think everybody needs to know since Colin Farrell is going to be Sergeant Rock, it looks like, in the new DC Studios movie for that character. Usually we do a lot of live streaming at night. We do video game streaming. We do MLB The Show. We do a lot of stuff and movie reviews, things like that. And then I've got a couple of little side channels, which I just kind of working on right now. I haven't been able to post anything for that. So I do apologize if you've been waiting on the new content, and I will get that out to you as soon as possible. The new content for the comic book will come out this weekend. Definitely going to have that up and running. I decided to go with the Superman villain Parasite. So we're going to talk about Parasite, and, and we'll be back streaming, and my son hopefully will recover and he'll be able to join me. So I am technically alone. Well, I'm not really alone. If you hear my dog walking around, that's Caesar, and y'all probably met Caesar before. So that's him. But other than that, it's just me, solo me. And it's a little weird, actually. I'm so used to, I was so used to being alone, and I'm so used to being with my son as my partner to kind of check me when I needed to be checked. So I'm unchecked right now. So hopefully I don't say anything that gets me canceled, or at least banned. Canceled I can deal with. Banned I don't want to deal with. I like my channel. So with that, we're going to get into some stuff. We're going to start with, well, anyways, that's the story of, I think I'm now an honorary Mexican, getting my residency, and I couldn't be happier. So, and anybody who wants to come down to Mexico, you want to ask a couple questions of me. What's it like being in Mexico? Where to go? Where to stay? What to eat? Where to eat? I'd be glad to answer that. Or if you're thinking about moving to Mexico or spending extended time down here, whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, shoot me a question. I'll be glad to answer it for you. I'll give you all the answers I can because it's I've been through it all. So with that, we're going to start out by talking about, let me get the transition up here. I'm using my left hand. All right, there we go. Minecraft. We're going to talk about Minecraft the movie. I am not a Minecraft fanatic. I have never played Minecraft. I don't get Minecraft. I see my kids, they love it. It looks like work. It looks like you're going to go dig a hole and build something. It looks like work, okay? I get it. Some people love that stuff. Some people are really creative. I've seen some of the things that my kids are showing me that other people have put online and say, wow, look what they built. I'm like, all right, cool. All right. I don't get the whole, there's things you got to run. Again, I love playing video games, you know? You see me play Silent Hill. You see me play Resident Evil. You see me play MLB The Show. You see me play Skull and Bones and all that. I love playing video games. I've just never, ever decided to touch Minecraft. Just wasn't my thing, baby. So when the Minecraft movie was announced, I was like, okay. When the Minecraft trailer came out, I said, okay. Well, I watched it and I said to my sons who were, deeply into it, I said, well, how does it look? And they didn't like how it looked. I said, okay. I didn't quite understand it. They said the textures are kind of wrong, the animation. I said, okay, all right, I get it. But the movie came out, and there's a bunch of reviews out there. There was a lot of hate for the movie beforehand, and making fun of Jason Momoa with his pink jacket, his mullet, call it the trans Minecraft thing or something like that. I don't know, right? I don't know how you get that from a trailer, but I guess you get it from a trailer, or some people got it from a trailer. So I said, well, let's go see this movie. And so yesterday we went and saw the movie. There are thumbnails out there where and titles of reviews. It's a total disaster. It's a mess. It's a fucking kids movie. All right. It's a fucking kids movie. It's not Citizen Kane. All right. It's not The Dark Knight. It's not, it's not looking to win an Academy Award. The movie itself does not take itself seriously when you watch it. Right. I'm not saying it's a great movie. It's a meh movie. It was entertaining in places. It really was. And it was 50. Like, if you're me, I'll kind of give you my perspective. Well, first of all, the thing that Minecraft has that, let's say, Snow White doesn't, and I brought up the box office numbers here. Minecraft, in just one day, in its Friday opening, worldwide has made $110 million, which is way more than Snow White made on its opening day. Now, when we went to see Snow White, and you all know I reviewed Snow White and gave you my reaction right after a couple weeks ago, when we walked into the theater for its first showing on its first day of release down here, the theater was empty. I took video of it. The theater was empty. It was just me, my wife, and my son. That was it. We were the only three there. We were the only three that stayed. That's it. This film figured, oh, okay, it'll probably be the same thing if people are saying it's not really that exciting. So we get to the mall where the cinema complex is. We figure, well, we'll go eat in the food court, and then we'll get our tickets. And I start noticing all these teenagers, and then I start noticing all these young adults, like, 18, 19, 20, that kind of age, and all hanging out. I'm like, why aren't you people in school? It's a Thursday, And they're all going to the McDonald's where they have all the Minecraft toys, and they're all buying the Minecraft toys. And I realized, they have Minecraft stuff on, right? And kind of noticed, they get the swords and everything like that, and they got the little plush toys. They got little cubes and stuff. I'm like, okay. Again, I can't really identify the Minecraft merchandise. Never played it. Some people are dressed all in blue, like blue shirt, blue jeans. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know what that meant until I saw the movie. And then my son explained it to me. There were groups of people that were walking around. They had these sticks coming up, glued to their head with their names here, like their player names. And I guess that's how you appear in Minecraft. So I said to myself, as I'm chopping down on my Big Mac, I'm thinking, damn. Maybe I should go get these tickets. Now, the movie theater hadn't opened yet, so I couldn't get to the ticket counter. So it was the first time I ever had to use the self-service ticket machine, which I didn't mind using it, right? No big deal. And I'm like, okay, the first showing in English, right? I figured, okay, all these kids are Mexican. They're here for the Spanish. They'll be going to the Spanish. Nope. The Spanish version and the English version, the both showings, first ones, they were almost all sold out. Literally, I was like, what? I looked at my wife and said, what the... Really? I mean, there's obviously huge excitement among at least the Minecraft faithful. And this is so I sat down in a theater full of Minecraft faithful. I mean, people were like There was like a buzz. There was like an enthusiasm. There was an energy as the trailers were running and the lights were getting dimmer and people were excited and like people dressed in blue and blue, which I guess that's Steve, right? Steve, the skin, right? People dressed as Alex. I had to figure out who Alex was. And they had, raising their swords in the air and they were having a blast. Which I said to myself, I haven't seen this kind of enthusiasm in a theater in a long time. Like Wicked. Okay, people were singing along in Wicked. I get it, but it was a little more different kind of thing, kind of a different thing, right? But I hadn't seen that kind of enthusiasm in a theater for a movie for a little bit. So, and I still haven't seen I'm still haven't even gotten to the movie. But again, you have all this hate out there for this movie. I saw, again, I'm fans of Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic. I've watched them a long, long time. Excuse me. And I just saw the thumbnail for Nerdrotic saying it's a complete mess. It's a disaster. It's this. And I'm like, okay, I guess if you don't like Minecraft, I guess you can call it that. But so we sit down. So you got all these excited people watching, getting ready to watch Minecraft, the movie. And I'm just like, I was as entertained watching the people watch the movie as I was watching the movie at one point, right? So it begins. And the first 20 minutes, again, I know crap about Minecraft. I don't know how it works. I don't know the rules of the world. I don't know, right? So like the first 20 minutes, it really felt, and I put this in my other review, it felt Tim Burton-esque, right? It had this quirkiness, this oddity to it, this really skewed view of rural America looking at it. It had this warm family thread just laced with absurdity going through it. And I thought, this is kind of entertaining, especially in the real world. You meet Garrett, the garbage man Garrison, Jason Momoa. Guess what? Listen, I lived through the 80s. People making fun of his pink leather jacket. Listen, if you were in the 80s and you were a kid like me in the 80s, you had a fucking pink jacket too, or a pink shirt. Pink was the color. So if you say you didn't, you're a friggin' liar. So just get over it. We all wanted the hair. I couldn't. I wish I had that hair, right? The sunglasses, right? But that's 80s, right? And Momoa's character, before I get into all the other ones, I thought he was hilarious. He made me laugh, which again, I said in my other review, this is a movie that made me laugh. It's a movie that made me laugh, right? Is it a great movie? No. 50% of the movie, I was like entertained. The other 50%, I have no idea what's going on because I don't play Minecraft, so I was lost. And that's the thing. That's the downfall of this movie is if you watch it as a general audience member, is that you'll be lost. It's like, I don't know what's going on. People are getting excited about Easter eggs and things like that. There was a pig that walked across the screen for a second with a gold crown, and everybody around me was like, yeah, oh my God, and gasping. And I'm like, what, should I pay attention to the pig? Is the pig important? What's the pig? Who is the pig the king? I thought the pigs are the bad guys. So again, I'm just, but Momoa I thought was great. Danielle Brooks, I thought her character was great. And I liked her from Peacemaker. I thought she did a great job in that series as well. So I was glad to see her in that kind of role. The two kids, Henry and Natalie, they did their job. They were serviceable. They weren't, they weren't giving Shakespearean performances. Jack Black, I absolutely hated because he's just playing Jack Black. He's yelling and yelling and yelling, and then he's singing, and I can't stand his singing, and I just don't want to hear him sing. So he kind of, whenever he was on screen, I was just like, right? It was grating, annoying, tiring. It just got boring. But whenever Momoa was on screen and, he was saying something stupid or doing something stupid, he threw himself into the role and he said, this is going to be a stupid movie. I'm going to play a stupid character. I'm going to go full bore with it. And he did. And it worked. That character worked. It was fun. The animation, I thought the animation was great. I think I just saw CGI dwarves that sucked ass 2 weeks ago. So to see somebody put some sort of care and effort and be like, we want to make this as good as we can, right? And yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect animation. I'm not saying it's perfect CGI, but damn, you can say like, okay, we threw some money and effort into the damn thing and said, we want to try and give something back. And in a film that's got that says, hey, this is Minecraft, it's an IP. Yeah, we have to change the story a little bit, but we want to keep as much fidelity to the source material as possible and give as much fan service as possible to the people who've been supporting this game as much as we can. I can appreciate that. So is it a movie that I'll ever go back and watch? No. Is it a movie that I'm like, oh, it's great? No, I don't think it's a great movie. It was an entertaining movie. I was entertained for an hour and 40 minutes, which is what I do, which is great. That's what you get paid. I pay for a ticket. I want to be entertained. But is it a shit show like some people are saying it is? No, it's not a shit show. But it's not, again, it's a silly, stupid video game kids movie, right? And it's going to make a ton of money. It's going to make a ton of money. Like I said, it's already made $110 million in one day. $110 million in one day. Snow White wishes it made $110 million in one day, right? It's already number 7 in the box office for the year after one day, right? The only thing ahead of it, Mickey 17, it'll pass that real quick. That was a bomb. Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, didn't see it, didn't come out in Mexico because we don't care about Bridget Jones down here in Mexico. Dog Man, some sort of cartoon. Snow White's number 3 at $148 million. It's going to surpass Snow White within the next 3 to 4 days. It might surpass Snow White box office wise by the end of Sunday, right? So, is it a terrible, terrible, terrible film? No. Is it a great, great, great film? No. It's just a Minecraft movie. That's all it is. So yeah, people are going to dunk on it because, it gets views and all that stuff. And I'm not sitting here defending the shit out of it. But again, it's not Snow White. It's not Mickey 17. Excuse me. Like I said, it's still getting over the COVID. It's honestly, it was way more entertaining to watch Minecraft movie than it was to watch Captain America Brave New World. It was more entertaining to me than The Electric State off of Netflix. It was, it's the most entertaining, right? I get it. It's April, but it's the most entertaining I've been all year long in a theater. So at least it's got that going for it. Is it going to be, is it going to get a sequel? Probably. It sets it up in the post-credit scene. If it does money, it's got a $150 million budget. So if it makes $300 million and breaks even, yeah, they'll probably say, yeah, we'll greenlight a sequel. But again, is it as bad as everybody, like you could see so much hate online for this movie from YouTubers that are just like, they want to dunk on it. I mean, if it was bad, I'd dunk on it. You know me. You've seen my reviews before. I've come on this channel and just shit all over movies before, right? But I can't do that. I would be dishonest if I came up here and said, yeah, it's the shittiest thing ever. It's a disaster. It's this. Take out Jack Black. I could watch it. Put Jack Black in to take the scenes with Jack Black as doing the majority of what he's doing. Now, some of the stuff I could have done without, like, the whole man sandwich thing. I could have done without that. Okay. When you see the movie, if you see the movie, you'll get what I mean. I thought that kind of, was a little thin. But yeah, other than that, it's a movie. It's going to be the first, I think, this might be the first movie this year, major release, that actually is profitable. Take it for what it's worth. But there you go. Yeah, Minecraft. And no, I'm not going to start playing Minecraft, even though my kids say you should try playing it. No. If I want to do that, I'll go get a set of Legos. I like Legos, by the way. So, speaking of which, actually, I never showed everybody. I said I showed it when I got it in the box, but I should be very gentle. One of my birthday gifts, I turned 50 last month, but I finally put it together. So one of my birthday gifts is the Lego Tenty 4. Yeah, so finally put it together. So pretty cool. Got this nice stand. I thought it was a nice job for a smaller version. I was thinking I was in the department store. They call department store down here. It's called Liverpool's giant department store. They have a section for everything. They have a toy section, of course. And so I was there looking at the Legos, and they had the giant Millennium Falcon, and it's like $1,000. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Something like 7,540 pieces. Maybe one day. Maybe. We'll think about it. All right. But with that, the other big news pop culture-wise this week has been CinemaCon 2025, which is out in Las Vegas. And it was funny. My other son was in Vegas. He calls me up. He goes, Dad, what's this CinemaCon thing? I had to explain to him because he's walking through the casino. And he's like, what is all this crap? I said, just stay away from that, Dad. If you don't know what CinemaCon is basically a convention for theater owners and distributors and movie distributors, right? So when you go there, instead of a booth with comic books or toys and things like that, someone's got a booth set up for like, here are the new popcorn buckets, or here's the new popcorn formula, or whatever, right? Or here's the leather for your new chairs in your VIP section, or here's the different types of new candy that we're going to put out, or whatever, here, whatever it is that you need to operate a movie theater. That's what this is for, or be a distributor of movies. But that's one part. That's the convention. The other part is when you're in the convention hall, the theater part, with the stage and everything. You got a section for press and then everybody else. Each studio comes out and tries to get the theater owners excited for the movies that are coming out. So they'll bring out their stars and they'll bring out their producers or their directors, and they'll talk about the movie. They might show a clip or they might show a trailer that won't exactly make it onto the internet and all that. So there's a lot. Now, we're not going to cover every movie that was advertised. We'll cover some of them, as you can see up, and just kind of talk about, like, here's the thing. Theater owners are pissed, right? They're dealing with inflation, so they got to cut down on their workforce or raise prices, which basically cuts down on their workforce because not many people are going to go pay the higher prices to see the movies. And they're dealing with they're like us, right? They're looking at it and go, can we get a good movie? Can we get a movie that's actually going to get marketed and not get pulled out of theaters 2 weeks after it's released just to go to streaming so we lose money? They're pissed. They're pissed about that whole deal. That COVID deal where they signed most of the studios, I think almost all the studios signed a deal where it used to be 90 days, right? I think it was 90 days. And if you're out there and am I wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It used to be 90 days. You could, then you could take your movie out of the theater and put it on streaming or sell it as a DVD, right? Now it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? Because of the COVID deal that they all signed. They want that to be expired. They want to get rid of that. They want to say no more of that, so they can kind of make some money. Now, that's part of the reason. The other reason is they see the movies that we see and they go, Jesus, no one wants to come see this crap, right? We got a new Marvel film. They used to make bank. I mean, think about being a movie theater owner when, when Endgame came out, right? Or Infinity War, or any one of those $1 billion or more, Black Panther, right? Any one of those movies came out. You get to keep half the ticket sales. The other half goes back to the studio. That's the way it is, right? Now, yeah, you get to keep half the ticket sales. There's just not that many. I did the math. Snow White. Let's go back here for a second, real quick. Let me just kind of indulge me, right? So Snow White, 148 million. So I say 150. So let's just round it out. Let's be easy with the math. 75 million of that goes to the theater owner. 75 million of that goes back to Disney. Think about that. That's not going to cover operating costs and all that stuff and marketing. It's just an overhead, especially with these big corporate theater chains. So they lost a lot of money. They're losing a lot of money. So they're pissed. And so this convention is to get everybody excited, to get these theater owners excited, to help, make sure you got plenty of theaters available for our film. Make sure, you put out the marketing correctly and all that stuff. And and maybe be a little bit more inventive and innovative to get people in. Maybe offer some half price concessions or something, whatever, right? Excuse me. Like I said, still getting over the C word. So that's what they do. And so so they trotted out day after day after day theater stars with their movies. Here's one. I'm going to start off with this one because I'm in the minority. I saw the original Avatar. I fell asleep. I get it. James Cameron, great director. I get it. The animation, the CGI, the special effects. I get it. Awesome. I fell asleep. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my bag, baby. I get it. It's a lot of people love it. They think it's awesome and good for them. I don't wish anybody ill will. I don't want to shit on anybody's fandom. Awesome. But Zoe Saldana, fresh off her Oscar win for that terrible, terrible film, Amelia Perez, shows off Avatar Fire and Ash at Disney CinemaCon. And there wasn't, here's the thing. Whenever Disney came out and was like, hey, we're going to show this film. We're going to show this film. Now, if you read Deadline or Variety or you read The Hollywood Reporter, they'll tell you everything was great and fantastic, but they're paid to do that. They're paid to hype it up. Most of the chatter afterwards, under the scuttlebutt they call it, right? Most of that was people saying, we're not excited about this stuff. We don't feel excited about this stuff. We don't trust that this stuff's going to make money. So is Avatar going to make a ton of money? Probably. Will it make as much money as the first and the second one? I don't know. We'll have to see. Again, I hope you're excited, but there you go. It'll be coming, Fire and Ash, right? And Disney rolled out a ton of stuff, right? They also have this one, Tron, right? Tron Ares or again, I'm from the original Tron era, when we played ColecoVision and Pong. So that's my Tron. The new Tron, I was like, whatever about it. My kids thought it was pretty cool, but that the trailer's online now. That got leaked online or put online. Again, I look at that Tron Ares. So I've got, but there's a theme here. You kind of start to build. It's like anything original? Nope. It's a remake. It's a sequel. Okay. Tron, it's a sequel. There's really nothing original coming out. All right. And speaking of which, the one that really kind of got my gird, right? If you're a Tron fan out there, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you do. I hope it's good. I hope it gives you something. I hope it gives you the reminder of the original film. Again, not like I'll watch it to review it, but that means I'll have to watch the first two original ones or new ones to be able to understand it. The one that got my gird was this one. Listen, I'm a Leslie Nielsen fan. Lieutenant Frank Drebin is a character only he could play. The Files of Police God, the TV show, the 3 films. I don't think, again, this is a remake. So again, not another original. It's not original. It's a remake with Liam Neeson. The guy's 70 years old, right? I don't want to see him in his underwear like I did. That was in the trailer, right? You watch the little teaser trailer that they have, and they show him in little girly panties. I'm like, what is this, humiliation humor? I'm like, I don't know. It's just the original Police Squad, the original Naked Gun movies. They're stupid, but they're intelligently stupid. All right. There's some thought and some silliness and some just behind the jokes, and there's intent behind the jokes. These seem to be what I saw was just sort of like, we're going to say bad words and do naughty things to do that, which is, again, if that's your cup of tea, that's fine. You go ahead and watch that. But I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I've seen other people out there who've seen the trailer and said, wow, this looks awesome. Cool. And they thought it looked awesome because it said it looks like it's not going to be woke. Listen, that I can't let that be the standard for whether a film's good or not. Someone comes to me, the film's not woke. Yeah, but is it a good story? But it's not woke, but does it have good acting? But it's not woke. It's like, okay, I get that. I don't want a woke film either. I don't want woke bullshit either anymore, but it still has to be good. Seth MacFarlane, everybody says he's brilliant. Okay, I like Family Guy, but Family Guy's a ripoff of South Park and a ripoff of Simpsons, right? It's not original. The Orville, it's a ripoff of satiring Spaceballs on. It's basically what Spaceballs did to Star Wars. He's doing that to Star Trek. And again, there's not a lot of originality there, right? So smart guy for taking advantage of a setup and a premise. So he's going to take this and hopefully he does well with it. I want it to do well because, again, I think those Naked Gun movies, is when I was a kid, they were hilarious. They're still hilarious if you watch them. Even OJ, like a film that can make you still laugh with OJ's on screen, that's a funny film. If you can laugh at OJ, knowing who OJ is now, it'll be fine. It's got Pam Anderson in this, I guess. Okay, Pam Anderson. Just like me, the years have not been kind. But there you go, the Naked Gun. So if you're excited about the Naked Gun, that's coming. Again, there'll be an extended trailer being released probably in about another month. And we see, here's the thing. People will say, oh, the trailers aren't released for these films, but I've been seeing trailers down here for films that I guess they release the trailers internationally, sometimes a little differently. And I guess I haven't been paying attention to the timing of them. But, we'll get to some of those in a few minutes. Let's get into Marvel. Oh boy. The Thunderbolts. I want this to be a good film. But here's the thing. It's characters that you didn't like in the first place, right? No one was a Taskmaster fan, whether you liked the character or not. The Taskmaster is a fine C-list comic book character, right? And I know people were pissed off that he got gender swapped for a female. Get it? Okay, cool. So we got a film. So we're gonna start Ghost from the second Ant-Man film. No one was clamoring for Ghost to come back. She wasn't really a great villain. She's probably one of the worst villains they had in the whole franchise. Patriot. Okay. He's all right. I mean, he's really, they made him out to be this horrible guy. I don't think he really was a horrible guy from the series. If you saw the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he wasn't a horrible guy. He did what any of us would have done. Yeah, this person killed my best friend. I'm going to kill him. That's pretty much what you do, right? That's human nature. That's what happens. So, but I gotta be mad at him. Florence Pugh, fine actress. I had to remember that she was like Black Widow's sister, and I had to remember like what. And then the person who's really out of place is Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I think as the character she's trying to play, I don't think they're not giving her the direction, or she's not taking the direction well, because excuse me. It seems like she's playing it so sort of light-hearted, like it's like trying to be too aloof, too above, too, I don't know, condescending, too, you think like, is this supposed to be Nick Fury's replacement? Because if this is Nick Fury's replacement, they ain't doing well. If this is supposed to, if you're going to follow up Sam Jackson, whether you like Sam Jackson's character, how it evolved, how they evolved Nick Fury's character. The thing is, when Sam Jackson's on screen and he turns it on, man, he turns it on, right? He owns the screen when he's on it, right? Julia Louis-Dreyfus doesn't have that ability to just own the screen like he does. Or maybe she does, but she's not doing it in any of the clips that I've seen. So I'm not really excited about Thunderbolts, which actually I'm going to see it. I'm going to watch it. I want it to be good because, I felt the same way about the Suicide Squad. I was kind of apprehensive, but that came out really well. So hopefully this comes out really well. Hopefully they get the formula right, and we'll see. David Harbour, I don't like the guy as a person. I get it. He's got some horrible things he says on Twitter and on Instagram and things like that. I guess everybody's entitled to say what they want to say. He's not a terrible actor, but hopefully he's he does well as the Red Guardian. The thing about this film is, if this film doesn't do well, and we're going to talk about Doomsday in a second here, but if this film doesn't do well, and then the Fantastic Four doesn't do well, Doomsday's in trouble. Because if you look at the cast lineup that they revealed with the Secret Wars, with all the chairs going down, right? You look at it, you're like, okay, Shang-Chi, no one really cared about that movie. The new female Black Panther, no one cared. You got, the Thunderbolts. So if they don't do well, okay, there's a bunch of people that no one cared about. If the Fantastic Four doesn't do well, and there's some buzz about the Fantastic Four not looking really well right now, you just basically have to cast. Take away the original X-Men that you're bringing back for nostalgia bait. Take away Ian McKellen and take away Sir Patrick Stewart. Take away those people. What you put out there for a cast is basically people from films like Ant-Man, Quantumania, and all that. You're putting people in films that weren't successful on their own. Now you're going to try to take all that unsuccessful stuff and smush it together and kind of sprinkle in again a bunch of nostalgia bait. And along with Robert Downey Jr. coming back, I don't know if that's So there's a lot riding on this film, The Thunderbolts. And right now, it doesn't seem like it's picking up a lot of hype. I mean, we're less than a month away of it releasing, and I don't think it's tracking well. At least it's not. I haven't seen any information that's saying that it's tracking well to do huge numbers, or certainly not anything. Not $1 billion, not even 800 million or anything like that. But again, go see it. Hopefully, I'm like the theater owners. I'm not excited, right? Marvel's burnt me, right? I think it's burnt you too as well. So I'm not excited about this. And I want to be excited. That's the thing. I used to get so excited. New Star Wars movie, new Marvel movie, new this. I used to get so excited. It was an event. It was like, hey, everybody, let's all get together. All right, you get on your phones, you tweet, you text everybody. Hey, what time? Yeah, we'll meet here, we'll meet there. I get the tickets, you get the tickets, all that, right? Now it's like, whatever. Wait for it to stream. And I think, I think that's just there's so much wrong with the theater going experience right now. And it's all the harm is just so it's self-harm. It's really self-harm what it is. So Thunderbolts did not get a great reaction. I've seen people, I've listened to the journalists who were there afterwards walking out going, and no one was really that excited for this, right? No one was excited to see them. Fantastic. We're going to skip over that one for a second. Fantastic Four got a reveal in an extended trailer. They showed the female Silver Surfer. They said it looked terrible because it's all digital. Now, yes, there is a female Silver Surfer in the comics. All right? It's Shia Ball. I will, if you go to my channel and you go to my Welcome to the Comicverse playlist, I have a comic book recap that I did on her story arc, how she became the Silver Surfer. It's an alternate universe. It's an alternate dimension. It's sort of like, so she's not the actual Silver Surfer, Prime Earth, all that, right? Or 616. So people are upset already that they're doing the female Silver Surfer instead of the regular Silver Surfer who everybody wants to see, Nor and Rad. They're saying that it doesn't look good, what they've seen already in these trailers from the people who've seen it at the CinemaCon. They really don't like Pedro Pascal. I really could care less about Pedro Pascal. I'm tired of seeing Pedro Pascal and everything. Shit. I mean, I was trying to watch a friggin' baseball game yesterday on Apple TV, and here comes a commercial for the new AirPods, and who's in the commercial? Fucking Pedro Pascal. I can't get away from the guy. He's like haunting me. Everything, he's in everything. Great. I'm glad for his success, but man, I need some variety, right? And Pedro Pascal has this. When I think of Reed Richards, when I think of the super genius Reed Richards, I think of somebody who has a seriousness, a resolve, but also a positive outlook, a positive, like things are gonna be okay. We're gonna work it out. Everything's gonna be great. We're gonna win. We're not gonna be defeated. We've got a contingency. Just Pedro Pascal does not have that in his arsenal. That's not in his acting toolkit. He's more mopey, and he's more down, and he's more pessimistic, and he's more haggard. And I'm like, so I don't think the casting of Pedro Pascal is going to work here. At least I just don't see it working. I think Vanessa Kirby, great actress, is going to work. I think the other two look good, right? Don't know really crap about their careers. Really haven't dug into them, but what I've seen, it looks okay, right? And of course, she's going to be pregnant with Franklin, so they're trying to set up the whole Franklin Richards. But again, if the Thunderbolts fail or don't make a dent, if the Fantastic Four doesn't make a dent, they're already shooting Secret Wars with all these people and probably pouring a lot of money into it. If it was me, if I'm Disney, I'm saying, let's hold the phone. Let's stop here for a second. Let's see how these two properties do before we invest another $300 million, $400 million when you add in the marketing into another movie with all these characters that people just, might not want to see. And I think betting on having people want to go see Sir Ian McKellen, great actor, as Magneto again. The guy's a little long in the tooth, and so's Patrick Stewart. I'm not sure exactly how much they're going to be able to pull off with their characters in this. So, again, I'm a huge comic book fan, but then again, I also look at it and go, what is this, the fourth Fantastic Four? Fifth, if you count the Harvey Korman, right? Harvey Korman, that was that in the 80s, that sucked. Then you had the Fantastic Four in the early 2000s with what's her name, Jessica Alba. That was terrible. It's aged better now. You had the one with the Silver Surfer, Rise of the Silver Surfer. That wasn't good. Then you had the newer one that came out that I don't think anyone saw. That was one of the worst comic book adaptation films I've ever seen in my life. So they're basically, okay, here's our fifth, give us another shot. Trust us this time. Well, I don't trust it because I've trusted it 4 other times and it didn't work. Now you want me to trust it because it looks prettier. It's got a better bow on it. It's got more wrapping. It's got more fireworks. But we'll see. So if those 2 films fail, God bless Secret Wars because they might as well just shut down that production. Just shut it down. Now, but again, if you want to know who Shia Ball is, just again, there's a video on my playlist that'll tell you exactly who Shia Ball is. She becomes a Silver Surfer. She becomes the Herald of Galactus. But it's in an alternate world, which makes me go, is this in an alternate world? Is this like what Earth? Is this Earth 616? What Earth are we playing with here? So now, speaking of Marvel, I'm not sure. All right. So Spider-Man 4 gets its official title. And that was the big reveal for Spider-Man at CinemaCon, called Brand New Day. All right. If you don't know anything about the comic books, there was the One More Day story arc in The Amazing Spider-Man. It basically killed the fandom, or a lot of the fandom, for The Amazing Spider-Man at the time. And they followed that. Basically what it had is it had Mary Jane going off with a different guy, living with a different guy, and Peter basically being a dickless wonder. It basically just emasculated Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It really pissed off a lot of people. It actually, at that point, I was like, I think I'm done watching. I think I'm done reading Spider-Man comic books. Then they came out with the arc after that, Brand New Day, where they kind of tried to fix it, and he's with Mary Jane and all that, right? So I'm not sure. Is this like a? Is it them trying to be cute, saying, "Hey, we're going to give you something that you want, Brand New Day. We'll put as they did with the other, we'll put Mary Jane and Peter back together again," because they split them apart at the end of No Way Home. Or is this a slap in the face going, we don't care what you think, fans, and we're going to call it this? And, the titles of the last 3 films were interesting. You had Homecoming. I get it. Okay. You had Far From Home, which wasn't Far From Home was not that great of a Spider-Man film when you go back and look at it. It wasn't the greatest. It had its flaws. I think I was just excited to see Spider-Man again, right? And then you had No Way Home, which I thought was really good. I think it did what it needed to do, and again paid homage to the previous iterations of it. So, excuse me. But as you can see, like I said, right down in here, Fantastic Four trailer electrifies CinemaCon with Silver Surfer's debut and Vanessa Kirby's pregnant superhero. No one outside of the paid media, people paid to say nice things, came out of that saying it looked good. So, just so you know. So I'm kind of skeptical about what the whole Brand New Day is, why they're calling it that. Is it a nod to the fans, or is it a finger to the fans? And since that's the only information we really have now, supposedly, like they said, the Hulk and the Punisher might be in this one. I don't know how you put the Punisher in a Spider-Man film. I mean, unless you're watering that guy down real hard. I mean, if I want to see the Punisher, I want to see the Punisher. I want to see the guy that's on Netflix. So I don't know if you're going to let that guy into a Spider-Man film. And as far as the Hulk is concerned, I could care less if I ever see Mark Ruffalo ever again. After seeing him in Mickey 17 and doing his best to insult 70% of the country. I think the guy's a tool bag, basically. So with that, that's pretty much. Oh, wait. We have more Disney. I seen this trailer. I saw this trailer before the Snow White movie, and Elio, whatever. Pixar's Elio trailer teases intergalactic adventure. No, it doesn't. It teases absolute fucking boredom. Literally. Pixar, again, one of those things where it's like, I love Pixar. At least most Pixar I love. right? There's the latest Pixar stuff, something like, not really, but you think about Wall-E, Toy Story, you could just draw a Toy Story, right? The Toy Story trilogy, the original trilogy. Wall-E, A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Cars, The Incredibles. I mean, the list goes on. Just magnificent films. Magnificent films. In every which way. Direction, design, narrative, storytelling, acting, voice acting. Magnificent. And it just kind of fell off the cliff like everything else, and now we have this. And I sat and I said, oh, Pixar, I saw it. Saw the guy did the little lamp jumping. I'm like, oh, shit, Pixar. I got excited. And then they showed me this trailer. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It looked so dumb. It looked so stupid. It looked so, I'm an outsider. I'm an outcast. I don't have an identity. And I'm like, oh, shit, here we go again. I'm like, this, you could just, it was so palpable. It was like coming out at you on waves and just washing over you. The social messaging. I got that whole Buzz Lightyear vibe out of this piece of crap. It's just this whole, and I looked at my son, and I looked at my wife, and I said, the two people who've grown up and loved Pixar and been there since day one with Pixar, I asked, I said, you interested in seeing that film? You excited for that film? They both looked at me, and they both turned their heads and they looked at me and they said, no, we don't, what the hell is that? So three people had the same reaction. And normally my wife is the voice of reasoning, where I can look at something and be like a fanboy and be like, it's not bad. And she's like, no, calm down. It's good. It's this, you see this and see that, she even, after watching Snow White, she even tried to, soothe it over and be like, no, this is good. And I like this. I like that scene and whatnot. I'm like, anyways. But even she looked at it and said, what the fuck? It's just Pixar. I mean, it was just a money printing machine. A money printing machine. And then John Lasseter got Me Too'd because whatever. He likes to rub women's shoulders. Okay. I get it. I get it. I would have been like, John, you can't work in the office anymore. You work from home. You'll still pay you the money, do all the work. Excuse me again. Just the COVID in me right now. But is what it is at this point. Oh, and I've seen this trailer. If you haven't seen this trailer, oh, damn, this trailer. Woo! They've taken the Smurfs, and it's going to be girl bossy. They've already announced it. Smurfette is going to lead the Smurfs to safety. She's going to be the one that takes charge. Smurfette. She's going to be the one that saves the day. Smurfette. All the other boys, the hundreds of other blue Smurfs, are going to have to bow down to Smurfette. So, the thing is, I have to go see this film because my wife loves the Smurfs. Absolutely loves the Smurfs. And I'm going to have to go see this film. And I grew up on the Smurfs, and Gargamel and all that stuff. And Azrael the cat, and Papa Smurf, and Handy Smurf, and, Brainy Smurf, and, all that. But I'm going to have to go see this film and be like, I have to sit through some girl bossing with Rihanna being Smurfette. So, yeah, going to look forward to that. Apparently Gargamel is going to have a brother or a long lost brother or something like that in it. And so there's going to be like two Gargamels. Why don't you just go with the regular Gargamel? Just go with the regular Gargamel. Yep. Rihanna starring as Smurfette, Papa Smurf, I guess. And, but it's a kid's movie. So they have to, kids movie, they got to indoctrinate. So we'll see. The trailer looked terrible, by the way. When I saw the trailer on the big screen, and that was, like I said, it premiered before Snow White, it looked terrible. It looked really, really bad. The animation, the way they overlaid it into real life or real world or live action, whatever it looked terrible. And I was so, I was like, I actually felt embarrassed for the people putting out the product. But, still a couple months away. We'll see if they fix it. And then the film getting a lot of attention, Superman. I'm still excited for Superman. There's some things being said about Superman that are making me a little skeptical. This movie has to do well. Now, it has to. Otherwise, DC Studios should just shut it down. If this movie doesn't do well, just shut it down again. Start over. Literally. Because if you can't get Superman right, you ain't going to get anything else right. It's just not. If you can't get the Man of Steel right, the guy is he's a good dude who likes to save people. So how do you make him cool? You make him a good dude who likes to save people and make him save people and make him do good things. Christopher Reeve's Superman, he wasn't a dick. I mean, he was in that one film where he got drunk, but that was because of the kryptonite. But anyways, but in Superman 1 and 2, he was just a nice guy, a helpful dude. Yeah, I know. It's corny. I know. No, not today's world. God forbid there was someone who wanted to do good in today's world, right? We're so skeptical of people who want to do good in today's world. They must have an ulterior motive. No, it's Superman. Get it right. Again, I like that they're using the symbol, that symbol, the Kingdom Come symbol. That outfit, though, the more I look at it, the more I say, why are they trying to hide him? Like, David Cornsweat's a pretty big dude. He's actually a big beefy dude. He's got, like, he's built, like he's put into work. But they're covering him up with all this extra fat fabric, and I get it, the tights, I get it. People aren't a fan of the tights. The more I see it, the more I can understand it, even though I think I understand where he's trying to go. But I think it's also, remember that Superman, I think it's in 5 years? Is it 5 years or 10 years that Superman becomes public domain? And I think they're using things that are not public domain that they'll be able to hold the rights to for a while. That's the big deal with Superman, is that he's been around for so long that he's going to lose his copyright protection. Give me a second. I'm going to mute this. Again, just the COVID in me. So that might be the reason why. I hate being sick. So now apparently there's a 10-minute, this is confirmed by James Gunn on stage at CinemaCon. They have a 10-minute dialogue scene between Lois and Superman. 10 minutes of dialogue, of them arguing, of them fighting or whatever, right? Okay. I mean, if you really, 10 minutes is long. 10 minutes of, if you're Quentin Tarantino and you tell me you wrote a dialogue scene of 10 minutes long, I'm still going to be like, you got to shorten that, right? As good of a dialogue writer as he is, and as good as his scripts are. James Gunn, he's a good writer. He writes some good stuff. Could he pull off 10 minutes of dialogue between two people? What are they talking about? Superman and Lois. I mean, what could they possibly be arguing about, right? But 10 minutes is a lifetime when watching a movie, really. 10 minutes is a long time doing anything, right? I mean, if you just sit there, if you just sit quietly, put on your timer and say, I'm going to sit quietly for 10 minutes with no sound, no nothing, and just stare. That's a long time, right? We just did it for 3 seconds. I mean, that's a long time. So I get some concerns. So hopefully they can, maybe they get a couple of test screenings in before and maybe get that cut down. I mean, they're already jamming a lot of people into this film, right? I'm excited to see Hawkgirl. Okay. I'm really excited to see Guy Gardner. Cool. Really excited to see Metamorpho. And then you got Lex Luger. You got Mr. Terrific. The Kaiju. You got Crypto. Crypto looked cool. Crypto looks awesome. Now the trailer looks amazing. The Fortress of Solitude looks amazing. These automatons, the robots that protect his Fortress of Solitude and take care of him, they look awesome, right? And so the extended trailer is that Superman comes, he crashes, he gets Crypto. Crypto comes, whistles for Crypto. Crypto jumps all over him. He looks cute as a button. He looks awesome. I love Crypto. If you want to know about Crypto, by the way, if you want to know about Crypto, Mr. or any of those characters I just named, if you want to know about them, again, go to my Welcome to the Comicverse playlist. I've got their first appearances and some origin stories and things like that. Definitely for Metamorpho and for Guy Gardner and as he became a Green Lantern. Anyways, and Crypto's first appearance was funny back in the 50s. And so he crashes. Crypto jumps all over him, kind of a little bit of a rambunctious dog, and drags him to the Fortress of Solitude. The Fortress of Solitude comes up. There's this big Superman symbol. It's awesome. It looks great. It looks fantastic the way they did it. The robots drag him in. They pick him up. There's Superman. He's got busted kidney, ribs, lacerations, all that, right? Obviously, something kicked the shit out of Superman. Now, some people were complaining, he's Superman. He's supposed to be, no, Superman has died in the comics, okay? Superman can take damage, okay? It's rare, but he can take damage. There are certain circumstances in which he can take injuries. And obviously, this is what happens in this part of the film. This is the first 5 minutes of the film, by the way. They put him in this chair that you can see in the picture. They have these lenses that basically stack on top of each other, and they basically blast and reflect the sun directly onto him in sort of a superheated, supercharged way, because the sunlight, the yellow sun, will heal him, and he's kind of like, he's in pain as he's being healed, and their robots are holding him down, right? And some people had an issue with that. I said, well, I don't really have an issue with that. I mean, that's the thing about Superman. You have to find a way to make the character vulnerable somehow. You can't just have a hero that's running around being like, no matter what happens, he's just going to, it doesn't matter, Superman's here. Doesn't matter, Superman's here. Doesn't matter, Superman's here. Right? You're going to have some vulnerability there to build tension, anxiety, or whatever, have a sense of dread, or put the character in peril somehow. So, but I thought, besides, let's move away from the outfit. We know the reasons why. I think it looks, what we've seen, it looks great. Looks amazing. Now, we just have to wait. We have to wait until it premieres. And when it finally does, be right there. First showing. Be right there for the first showing. And I think it's going to make a ton of money. But the thing is it going to make a ton of money, or is it going to make a shit ton of money? It'll make a ton of money because everybody's going to want to go see it that first weekend. But a shit ton of money means people are going to go back to see it, or people who are just, casual viewers will be like, oh, I don't want to miss out on Superman. It's the one or two. I only see 3 movies a year. This will be one of them. All right. And we'll just go and see that. Now, let's face it, Superman films don't have great track record. You've got the original Superman, Christopher Reeve, right? Probably the best Superman film that's out there. Although Superman 2, especially I think Superman 2 I like a lot. I like General Zod, and I like that storyline. I know it gets a little weird, a little corny, but I like it. It's comic books. Superman 3 with Richard Pryor, it's worth a laugh. It's worth it. That's basically Richard Pryor's film. That's not a Superman film. That's a Richard Pryor film with Superman in it. And gotta love Gus Gorman, Richard Pryor, great comedian. So it's not really a great Superman film. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, absolute dog shit. If you watch Superman 3 and then watch Superman 4, Superman 4 has the same special effects scenes cut into it, like the general B-roll stuff cut into it so they can save money. It's terrible. Superman 4, Quest for Peace. That is a terrible, terrible film. Then you got the Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. Not bad. I kind of liked Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor, and I thought it deserved better credit than what it got. The whole Lois being married thing, that was a little weird. Again, him getting cucked. I'm like, okay, leave that alone. I know it's happened before in the comics and stuff, but just, you're going to reintroduce Superman and say he returns, let's start out fresh. But some great scenes there. Man of Steel was all right. It was good. I think it leaned too heavily into Snyder's sort of techno crap. Tried to make it too, I don't know. It just seemed like he was trying to do too much to dress it up. And I think that's where it kind of failed. He kind of Superman's a story about a guy, right? He's a guy, he's human emotions, right? He's a superhero, but he's anchored in a human world. And when you don't focus on that human connection with Superman, you lose the character. And I think that's about it. And then, you get the Justice League films and stuff like that. It's just those don't really count. So hopefully this will do well. And I think it will. I so far I've had fun watching everything James Gunn has done. I was, the Monster Squad, whatever they call it. Creature Commando. There you go. Creature Commando was good. Wasn't fantastic, spectacular, but it was good. Peacemaker I really liked. So some of the stuff he does I like. So I think he's going to be fine. Hopefully, he does this film and then he kind of says to everybody else, all right, everybody else, you can do the directing and get on with it. And we'll take it from there. But yeah. So those are just some of the movies coming out for Comic-Con. Let's see here. This did not update. Let's see here. Minecraft movie. Oh yeah, they're going to start to pull. They're going to start to pull Snow White out of. I'm actually curious. Did they pull Snow White out yet? Let's look at something up in the Northeast. Yeah, let's see here. Can you still see? Yeah, you can still see Snow White. How many theater? Let's see. Wow. Yeah, okay. What about tomorrow? Not many showings. Looks like it's on one screen. Wow. Yeah, it bombed that hard that they're starting to pull it. Yeah, that's the end of Snow White. That is a bomb. Let's look at Minecraft. What do they got showing it for? Yeah, look at Minecraft. Boom, it's going to make a ton of money. It's going to make a ton of money. So a lot of haters out there. Again, it's not that bad of a movie. It's not a great movie. It's not that bad. This Working Man. This isn't come to Mexico yet, so I gotta wait to see that. This thing is a dumpster fire. One showing. Again, tomorrow, one showing. One showing. Screw Mickey 17. Crap. It's crap. This hasn't come to Mexico either. Death of a Unicorn. This is still wow. That has not. So hopefully this early access screenings, April 5th. Oh, wow, it's already, I don't know if that's up here. Let's see if that's up in, let's see. Let's see if that's getting early access in Mexico. I doubt it. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, they're starting to pull Snow White. Let's see, we'll do tomorrow. Rescue, Memoirs of a Snail, Peter Pan, and Mark Souls. Oh, Humanist Vampire Seeks Suicide. Not sure what kind of movie that is or where it's coming from. French-Canadian movie. Figures. Reruns, Betterment, not seeing that. There's Minecraft, got tons of Last Journey. Nope, so we're not going to be able to get that early access for the amateur. All right, well, it is what it is. It is what it is, folks. Whew. Ooh, it's been a day. But with that, I thank everybody for joining and thank you for the views, the comments, all that fun stuff. With that, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go and have some dinner and play some MLB and get back to work on those videos. So thanks for giving me the week off for being sick. I appreciate it, everybody. I'll see you next time. See you next week, starting about Monday. Sundays, we usually take the day off, so I'll see you Monday. And, yeah, we out of here. From south of the border. I'm still your reluctant gringo. salute, and a huevo.
You a racist? Do you hate Mexicans?
So long, gay boys!